Hello, and welcome to Bob Toski on Golf. I'm Peter Kessler. This is, of course, the father of modern instruction, Bob Toski. Show us, Bob, what good players do to find feel, to find rhythm, and how, like them, we can become our own best coach.
Thank you, Peter. I've got a 58-degree wedge in my hand, and I'm going to strike the ball about 40 yards to that target in front of me. So I'm going to try to make a golf swing that's rhythmic and very easy, and I'm going to swing the club at a rate of speed and a length that I can control. My brain and my eyes tell me what I should do before I hit this ball to that target. So once I get my grip proper, pretty close to neutral, and place the club behind the ball and aim it at the target, I see the club traveling on the line, slightly inside and up, shifting my weight and coming back to the line, delivering the club toward the target, and finishing my swing about hip high or a little higher. I don't need a lot of length and a lot of speed because I'm controlling the club face to strike the ball to the target. So I'm controlling the rhythm of my swing through my arms. Your arms have the rhythm, your hands have speed, your shoulders are the turners and the controllers of the arms and hands as you swing. So I'm going to make 3 or 4 shots here, and I'm going to try to make a practice swing, which is a preparatory swing to the target. Notice that the hands go about shoulder height and finish about shoulder height. Now I'm going to repeat that rhythmic swing and the length of that swing and try to contact the ball solid and square toward the target. All right, now the game of distance and direction. The direction of the shot was pretty good. It didn't go far offline, but the distance was too far, so I had too much club head speed. And that's what golf is, distance and direction. So how do you practice that? I know that I hit the shot squared toward the target, but I had too much speed. So now I take a practice swing and try to have a little less speed through impact to try to control the club face to land closer to the target. Let's see what happens here. Now the reason why the ball fell offline is because the ball hit the shaft. Well, I hit it too good. And I should have missed the shaft, but I didn't get the ball quite high enough. But those are pretty good golf shots because they're around the target area. Now, if you are playing golf and you're trying to hit this ball to this target, and you're swinging the club and the ball's going over there, and you make another swing and it goes over there, you don't know what you're doing and you're not getting good ball control and good golf swing control. So start with a nice free arm flow. Swing your arms, allow your body to turn and shift naturally. Try to find the speed and the rhythm of the stroke by contacting the ball first with a descending blow to pitch the ball toward the target. Now all those balls are around the target area. That's success. Success is getting the ball close to the target or into the target. People want to know how that's accomplished. I'll go into a little more detail here by showing you the importance of the push-pull. Push the club, cock your wrist, pull the club, uncock your wrist. Golf swing is wrist cock, arm flow, shoulder turn, hip turn, knee rotation, but we won't go into that until I talk about the longer arc and the bigger swing. So here we go. I push, I set, I pull. When I get here, I release. Release is to rotate and accelerate and square the club face by a push, pull, release. All those balls are around the target area. That means I have good hand-eye coordination. And if you've got poor hand-eye coordination, and you're trying to hit the ball long and get a lot of distance, you're not preparing yourself for success. You're preparing yourself for disaster.
Talk to me a little bit, Bob, about what recreational players do when they pull and push as opposed to push and pull.
When you push and pull, as the cameraman in back of me will watch and see, as I push the club toward the line, and because I'm making a circle, the wrist now must turn the shaft and the club face to get in position at the top, which creates what we call an oblique angle. This would be vertical, this would be flat. We don't want either of those. We want to look something like so. And when we get here, we want to deliver and look something like so. Notice the two shafts almost complement, the shafts complement each other on the backward and forward swing. So the push-pull and the swinging of an arm, your arm should be hanging, not tight. You don't want a lot of body tension. You want to be free. You want to be ready by staying in motion, and just before you make a swing, your body will set, and you'll push and pull and deliver the club toward the target.
It seems to me, Bob, that so many recreational players strangle the club, which flies in the face of everything that you've just talked about. Feeling free and easy, or as Sam Snead said, I like to feel oily. So talk to me about grip pressure. That's what's holding on to the golf club.
Well, as this famous teacher at St. Andrews, Glenn Hall, says, people over-control the golf club. They do that because they're fearful that if they don't hold it tight enough, they won't have any control. Let me shake your hand there. What did you just feel?
A 1.5 on the 10 scale.
Well, why did I have to do that? I didn't have to do that. I can take your hand and I can swing your arm a lot freer than I could if I held it that tight and start jerking it and moving it at a forced effort. An ounce of touch is worth a ton of brawn. Because if you don't find that touch, you'll be there till dawn. So a light grip pressure starts by trying to hit the ball to a short distance, so you don't have to have a lot of grip pressure because you're not making that much more effort to swing the club at a greater rate of speed. Once you swing at the club at a greater rate of speed, then your grip pressure is going to change. It's going to get greater, but you don't think about that.
Show me in slow motion how the shift, turn, and shift, turn should take place for the recreational player. What should he or she be thinking about during those 4 moves?
Well, when you make a circle, with the golf club, the body wants to turn to the right because you're making a circle to the right. But your weight does shift over to your right leg. And then when you make a circle on the opposite side, your weight shifts into your left leg and then around. So you have vertical, lateral, and rotary motions. There's more rotational force and vertical force than there's lateral. There's not much lateral force, but there must be lateral force. Because if I just turn and don't shift, my body will move backwards. We must shift to it and then swing through it. This is very critical. You see that in all good players. They shift, their lower body shifts earlier because the legs are heavier and slower muscles than the arms and hands. In the backswing, the legs pick up the speed of the arms going back, and the arms pick up the speed of the lower body going forward. And we should look at the ball out of our lead eye to understand that when the lead eye is looking at the top of the ball, the club head will traverse and travel around and stay inside. Notice my lead eye has not moved forward or around. Once the trailing eye is higher and inside and stays higher and inside, I can come down inside and then square the club face, and then my eyes will turn and look toward the target after the ball is struck. So watch and see my cap here, and watch and see how when I swing back, my head turns slightly to the right. So I'm looking at the ball out of my lead eye, right on top of the golf ball, and trying to hit the side of the ball. You see all good players in that position at the point of impact. Poor players are either over here or around over there, and your eyes conceive, your mind receives, and your body reacts. So watch, I'm going to hold that angle until impact and then look to the target. And the ball was driven toward the target line.
It seems to me, Bob, at the top of your swing, you almost come to a pause. I remember Byron Nelson said, if you don't come to some sort of a pause at the top of your swing, you're going to be in big trouble. You clearly do that. Recreational players don't clearly do that, do they?
No, because your hands and wrists are the most active part of your body. No one part of your body creates more speed than your hands and wrists. And if you're trying to over-activate your hands and wrists one way or the other, you're going to move the club out of position. So what I try to do is Once I turn my wrist, I try to set and hold that position. And it's controlled by these 3 fingers into that forearm. I set that club and I feel like I'm slowing down or even stopping. Better to slow down and stop than to change directions that fast, and you see a lot of players doing that. See how fast, see how quickly I lost control? Once I swing the club and set there, it gives my body time to turn, gives my body time to shift and turn again. So the ball is going to wait for you. Why is everybody in a hurry to get to the ball when the ball is going to sit there and give you more time to find it? I've never understood that. So yes, Byron was the first player that he said he pushed the club to the top of his backswing. He pushed it up with his forearm and hand, and when he got to the top, then he would download or downcock because he had very little wrist cock at the top of the backswing, and his swing would look something like this. I'll emulate. He'd push up, and then you'd see a lot of genuflect, and then he'd come down and then really release the club through the ball. Most golfers that are poor players do the opposite. They start pulling and pushing. They pull in with the right arm and push out with the right arm. They fire and fall back, and they use all kind of explicit terms, which I won't mention at this point in time.
When you get ready to take a fuller swing, we've been hitting 40-yarders essentially since we started. When you're ready to be fuller, when you're ready to be faster, how do you do it, maintaining the rhythm and tempo that you had with the little shot?
Very simple, Peter. What club did I use here?
Pitching wedge.
No, this
Sand
is
wedge.
So I take the next lofted club, which would be a
gap wedge
or a pitching wedge. You could diverse, but I'm going to simply take one club at a time. If you watch the touring pros practice, they start with the pitching wedge, then they go from the 9 and the 8 and the 7 and the 6, unless they feel like they're so confident they can switch 2 or 3 clubs because their hand-eye coordination is that good. Work one club at a time. Learn to understand that as you control the length and speed of the shot, the body is going to move faster and quicker. You're going to turn quicker, you're going to shift, and you're going to swing faster. So you start with the pitching wedge and you try to make a little fuller swing and make contact. Now, there's not much difference in that swing, but my ball just went about 40 or 50 yards further because I had a bigger arc, I had more turn, I had more shift, and the turning and the shifting are helping the force of the swing to create more speed out into the point of impact. But when you practice that, you must hit the ball toward your target. You must keep control of the distance and the direction of the shot. Now, we got a camera angle right here in back of me, and there's a tree in back of this flag here. And that tree is about, palm tree is probably 100 yards. So I know what I need to do with the length and speed of my swing to get to the 100 yards. So my arm flow will be a little greater, my arc will be a little greater to create more speed. Now I'm going to instinctively try to create enough speed with the golf club to and through impact to deliver the ball toward that flag. Let's see what happens. You're going to see a little pause at the top, a little push and a pause and a release. Oh, don't hit the tree. Well, it's about 4 or 5 feet left. This is golf. Success is when you see the ball going toward the target, close to the target, with every club in the bag. That builds confidence. And if you're not doing that, then you need supervised instruction to understand how to create the swing, turn, and shift and control the flight of the ball in the direction of the ball to the target.
One of the things that we see so often with recreational players is they get on top of the perfect oblique plane that you would like them to have, and the ball starts left, even with pitching clubs, maybe starts to curve to the right as the clubs get longer, but there's trouble already. Pitching wedge, and we're going left. Fix it.
Well, here's what makes golf so natural. If I were to throw this ball toward that target, what would my brain tell me to do? Throw it underhanded or overhanded or sidearm? Which way? Over. So I've already produced a swing that's going to start the ball where? Left. I'm going to throw the ball, I'm going to step, and I'm going to throw the ball left. So the natural swing is to come across the ball from outside the line of play because we throw the ball overhanded. You want to learn how to find the ball properly by not even having a golf club in your hand? You see that yellow flag right there, gentlemen? I'm going to aim that ball down here by the base of my knees, and I'm going to swing my arm up, and I'm going to throw the ball sidearm or overhanded or underhanded.
Under.
Underhanded. So here we go. I'm going to now throw the ball underhanded. Watch and see how the body looks entirely different than I would if I were throwing the ball this way. See, golf is not a natural game because we always throw a ball with our right arm higher than our head. That's why the club goes higher over the head. So we're creatures of a bad habit. Now watch, I'm going to throw the ball underhanded and see if I can throw it toward that target. Here we go. That wasn't too bad. So you now have to feel that sensation where the head is an axis and your body revolves under and around. You notice my head was steady at the point of impact. Notice that's what Tiger does so well. And then he'll look up after impact. Most golfers are trying to look to see where the ball goes before they even make contact. They want to know why they're all over the place.
You know, we were with Gary Player, you and I, recently, and he hit a number of shots for us, and he had this tight little draw that he was hitting. And, you know, it's at almost 80 years of age, I thought it was as good as anybody had ever hit the ball in front of me. Now, I'm watching you hit these little wedges, and they're drawing 3, 4, 5 feet. The recreational player would give a lot to be able to have a medium-high flight with a little bit of right to left. Is there something that they can do with their hand-eye coordination and what you tell them to start to have a golf ball start a little right of target and end up on target?
Very simple. I don't even need a golf club. I can start right here, and I can then cock my head to the right. I preset my head to the right. Now my right eye is higher than my left. My left is lower than my right eye, and my right eye has now traversed slightly to the inside. Now if I hold that angle, I see an angle going where, Peter?
Out to your right.
Out to your right. And if I hold that angle and try to release the ball underhanded, that hand is going to do that. You're going to see that rotation. Watch, I'll try to, remember I gave you a tennis ball when I gave you a lesson the other day? Now I'll try to take these two fingers and that thumb, and I'll try to turn those two fingers and that thumb and make the ball curve by keeping my head to the right of my line of play. So I'll do this and then I'll turn, and I actually pull the ball slightly because I turned a little bit too early, but I at least released. Now, when we throw a ball overhanded, our hands and our eyes and our hands do this. They turn under. So when we throw the ball overhanded, then the eyes and the head move to the left of the line because we're going overhanded. Now, the only way I can get the ball toward that target, I've got to try to curve it like so. And you see these guys do something like so. So aiming the club, having the right grip and the right pressure and a free arm flow and a free body flow is critical. It doesn't take a lot of effort. In fact, it takes less effort than you think because the club is light, the ball is light, and the body is heavy. Everybody's playing golf like the ball is heavy, the club is heavy, and the body is light. I have never understood that. It's a game in which when you swing with grace and ease, then your body you will please. But if you swing hard and fast, you're never going to ever last.
That was wonderful, Bob. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure.